You know that moment when someone asks you for something and your heart says no, but your mouth says okay, and right after, you feel heavy, tired, maybe even a little angry at yourself. If that feels familiar, this is for you. Because saying no shouldn't feel like a battle inside your chest, but for some people, it does every single time. Today we're talking about the psychology of people who feel weak saying no, and you might realize this is not weakness at all. It's something much deeper. Let's understand it together. At its core, struggling to say no is not about words. It's about fear, emotion, and the way your brain learned to survive. Think of your mind like a safety system. Its job is to protect you from rejection, conflict, and loss. So when you try to say no, your brain treats it like danger. Even if it's something small, like refusing a favor or setting a boundary, your mind whispers, what if they get upset? What if they leave? What if they stop liking you? And suddenly, saying no feels heavier than saying yes. Let's break this down, because there are real psychological reasons behind it. First, people-pleasing behavior. Many people who struggle to say no grew up learning that love comes from being good, being helpful, being quiet, being easy. Maybe you were praised when you agreed and ignored when you didn't. So now, your brain connects yes with acceptance and no with rejection. For example, your friend asks for help when you're already tired. You say yes, not because you want to, but because you don't want to disappoint them. And deep inside, you just want to be liked. That's not weakness. That's a learned survival habit. Second, fear of conflict. Some people don't say no because they're scared of arguments, tension, or awkward silence. Maybe you've seen fights growing up or felt uncomfortable when people got upset. So now, you avoid conflict at all costs. You'd rather feel uncomfortable yourself than risk someone else being uncomfortable, like agreeing to plans you don't enjoy just to keep peace. But here's the truth. Avoiding conflict doesn't create peace. It just hides discomfort inside you. Third, low self-worth. This one goes deep. When you don't value your own time, energy, or feelings, it becomes easy to give them away. You start thinking, my needs don't matter that much. They probably need it more than me. So you keep saying yes, even when it drains you. A study from the University of California showed people who struggle with self-worth are more likely to overcommit and feel emotional burnout because they don't see their own limits as important. But your time, your energy, is just as valuable as anyone else's. Fourth, guilt conditioning. Some people feel guilty just thinking about saying no, even when they've done nothing wrong. That guilt doesn't come from logic. It comes from conditioning. Maybe you were made to feel bad for saying no in the past, like you were selfish, rude, or unkind. So now, your brain attaches guilt to boundaries. For example, you say no to a simple request and instantly feel like you hurt someone, even if they're completely fine. That guilt is not truth. It's just a memory playing again. Fifth, emotional responsibility. This is when you feel responsible for how others feel. If someone gets sad, you think it's your fault. If someone gets upset, you feel you must fix it. So you say yes, just to keep everyone emotionally okay. But here's something important. You are not responsible for everyone's emotions. People are allowed to feel things, just like you are. Sixth, fear of losing relationships. Sometimes, saying no feels like risking everything. What if they stop talking to me? What if they leave? So you hold on by always agreeing. But a real relationship doesn't break because of one honest no. In fact, healthy relationships respect boundaries. If someone only stays because you always say yes, that's not connection, that's control. Now here's the twist, and this might change how you see yourself. The same people who struggle to say no are often the most kind, the most caring, and the most emotionally aware. You feel deeply, you think about others, you want to help. That's not weakness, that's emotional strength. But strength without boundaries turns into self-neglect, and you deserve better than that. So how do you start changing this? Slowly, gently. Not by becoming rude, not by pushing people away, but by learning balance. Start small, pause before answering, give yourself a moment to think. Use simple phrases like, I'll think about it, or I can't this time. Remember, you don't need long explanations. A no can be quiet, calm, and respectful. Practice with low-pressure situations first, and most importantly, remind yourself, saying no doesn't make you a bad person. It makes you an honest one. At the end of the day, every time you say yes when you mean no, you slowly move away from yourself. And every time you say no when you need to, you come back home to who you really are. You're not weak. You were just never taught how to protect your energy. But you can learn step by step. And one day, saying no won't feel like fear. It will feel like freedom. If this felt like your story, just know you're not alone in this. And if even one line made you pause and think, take a second, like this video, and share your thoughts in the comments, because sometimes hearing "me too" is the first step to healing.